Hello there, everybody. We are going to move on to building our dialogue system. So in previous videos, we constructed the variables down here. We constructed our dialogue canvas system itself right there. So now we're going to go ahead and build our actual dialogue system. And this is basically going to be step by step exactly what we've got in the book. But I know it was a little confusing in a couple of places, so we're going to hopefully square away some of the confusion that came about. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to follow along with our design document of our conversation right here, and this is going to be my basic layout. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by getting my states out there, and what I'm going to use for my state names are going to be like the first 2 or 3 words of each response that Teresa has there. So I'm going to begin with state 1. I'm just actually going to call you start. So start, then we're going to create another add state, and this one I will call you oaf. Put it over here, and I'm going to kind of lay it out the exact same as the design document has. Not looking, I will put it up over here. And then we'll do another add state, probably right about here. We will call this place, and we're going to need another one, add state, maybe like right about here. And this is going to be quit being silly. And then we have an end add state, and that is going to be my end right there. Okay, so we've got our basic layout, and you can see that it roughly, didn't want to maximize that, it roughly matches our design document. So now we're going to go through and add these transitions here. So we're going to have on click 1 and on click 2, but not all of them are going to need both clicks. So I will go ahead, and my start is going to have an add transition on click 1 and an on click 2. On click 2 will go over here. On click 1 will go over here. You oaf will only have one add transition on click 1, goes down to this place is a mess. This place is a mess has on click 1 and on click 2. On click 2 will go to end. On click 1 will go to quit being silly. Quit being silly only has 1. It will go to end, and then not looking too hard will have 2 as well. On click 1 followed by on click 2. We'll go down there, and then we'll go down here to the end. Let me move my end, get that to snap a little differently so it's a little bit easier to see. Move this over here. Okay, so now you can see that we've got our basic layout with our transitions roughly mimicking what we have here in our design document. So we're now ready to start putting some stuff together. Okay, so we're going to start up here with a start, and the first thing we're going to have to do is actually our dialog canvas out here. By default, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so it's not visible. You see currently it is on all the time, but I actually only want it on once the player comes up here and interacts with Teresa, which also means that by default Teresa, this state machine, my starting dialog, needs to be turned off as well. And so let's go ahead and take a look at our dialog detection and make sure that we've got it set up to turn on this state machine, just to kind of double check this. So my idle begin, let's see, we're turning off a bunch of stuff in various places. There it is, starting dialog. So right there it is. So yeah, we are turning that one on. And then once we're closing, bull flip. Okay, so we've got all that set up. So just, well actually I don't need to move anywhere. So let's go back to our starting dialog, and right here inside this I'm going to go ahead and throw out a so I need to turn this canvas on, and this canvas, what I'm needing to do to it to turn it on, a couple of ways we can do this. Okay, so what I've got here is actually a canvas, right? And I'm going to just turn on this property. Now, the way that I did it in the book, and you can do it this way here as well, it was that I set this up to be a game object, and then I did an activate game object. So you can really do this either way, will work just fine. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the canvas active, but the canvas doesn't actually appear until that component is turned on. So just doing this a little bit differently from what we did in the book. So we will go ahead and get that set up by going Action Browser, and then we're going to just drop in this set property right here so that we can start setting the property for something. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and decide what property it is we want to change here. So the thing that I'm going to want to change here, I'm going to go to target object. Let's go to our variable here, and in my drop down I'm going to go ahead and select my dialog canvas, and the property I want to change is going to be the enabled property, and I want to turn it on. Okay, now as I mentioned in the chapter, I actually do this different, and I'll show you that here as well in just a second. Let's go ahead and make sure this is doing what I want, and we'll go ahead and play this. So now if I run over here, there we go. You see it turned on like that. Okay, now let me show you how I did it in the chapter as well, just so you can see there's more than one way to do things, generally speaking. So I'll select Teresa right there. Now I'm going to need a different variable to do what I did in the chapter. So I'll go over here to variables, and in the chapter I actually called it journal, so I'm just going to follow that along. So I'll do journal, and it was of type game object is what it was. So I'll add that and do an inspector, and then with Teresa right down here, you can see we've got this journal. I'm going to take my dialog canvas, drop it down onto there, and kind of change things around here a little bit. So for my dialog canvas, turn my canvas back on and disable the game object. Alright, now let's go back over here into our state, and instead of using a set property, so the set property is useful for changing properties of components, not really like turning on and off game objects. So in my search bar over there, I'll just type game object, and you see right here we have an activate game object. So let's add that to our state, and what I want to activate is going to be a specific object. My variable name is going to be journal. I want to turn it on, and reset on exit would turn it off after we exit. I don't want to do that. And recursive will turn on all of its children. Well, they're kind of already on, so it really doesn't matter if I use that one or not, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that for now. And now if I play this, run over here, we get the exact same response out of either one of those ways. So you can kind of do that either way you want to do it. Let me get back to Teresa. Where are you at, Teresa? There she is. So I guess for right now I'll just leave the activate game object, since that's what I've got set up there at the moment, and go ahead and start filling in some information here. So I'm going to start off with Action Browser, and we're going to need a bunch of set properties. Set property right there, add that to my state. The property I want to set is going to be my speaker name, and I want to set it as a text string, and I'm going to give it a value of Teresa, like so. And then I will do another Action Browser, set property, and this one, and whether this one's on top or this one's on top, it's not going to matter either way. Just pretty much I want to activate first though. Okay, so let's go ahead, use our variable, and this is going to be dialog text. It is also going to be of type text string, and the first thing that she says is, Sancho, there you are. I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you. Okay, so that's what she's going to say. Now we've got another set property. This is, I want it down here. This is going to be for button 1 text, and what he's going to say there is going to be a text string, and he's going to say, who are you, woman? And then Sancho proceeds to get beat up by his wife, who we could probably go straight out of Princess Bride here. And I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. And yeah, okay. So we got button 1. Let's do a button 2 text right there. It is also going to be of type text string. And this time, this is smart Sancho. He says, I've been looking for you too. So he knew who she was this time. Okay, so we've got those two set up. And then the final thing we need here is we need to respond to the user pressing a button. So that is going to be, and I've already pulled this out of the ecosystem. This is going to be the, I'm just going to type on click, and there you have GUI button on click event, which we had to go out into the ecosystem to add it to our playmaker. All right, so I'll add that action. Let's see, it added it to the top. That's probably fine, I guess. Use owner, no specify game object, variable type, and this is going to be, okay, yeah. So got a slight problem over here in my variables. So my button 1, let's see, I did this as a object button apparently. I'm going to have to change that to a text. I'm sorry, not a text, to a game object. Button 1, button 2, state. And then we've got our specify game object. And now I can go with button 1. Send event is going to be on click 1. Let's take a look out here. Notice these two got messed up. So option 1 goes down here, and then option 2 goes right there. Okay, so fix that. Minor issue. Not the end of the world though. Got that taken care of. And then we will add another UGUI down here. This is going to be also specify. It is going to be button 2. And it is going to go with a send event of on click 2. Okay, so I'm going to test this out. What I'm looking for is to make sure that all these set properties work, and then I also want to make sure when I press either one of these that it goes on to this next state down there. So let's see what we've got. Let's go ahead and play this. Let's run over here. What do we have? Teresa, talk to me. There we go. So you see this changed our text that we had up there. And let's go with who are you? I click that, and notice the green box is around you oaf. So it transitioned correctly to where we wanted it to. Alright, so this is looking pretty good. We've got our transitions working the way we want. Let's go ahead and build the you oaf next. So what we need to do is we need to change her dialog. We need to change button 1's dialog. We need to respond. So let's just kind of go one at a time here. I'm going to go ahead and add another you button on click. This is going to also be specify game object. It is going to be button 1, and it is going to send an event of on click 1. Okay, that's nice. And now we will do a set property. Set property. And what we'll do in this set property is we will go ahead and go with a button 1 text. Yeah, let's start there. Property is going to be text string, and here he says like what? Because she says we have things to do, and this is Sancho. He's like like what? I don't really want to do anything because hey, I'm Sancho. Okay, so we got that. Let's do another set property, and this will be a dialog text. This will be a text string, and here Sancho, here Teresa is saying you oaf, I'm your wife, comma Teresa. Now be serious. We have things to do. There we go. Now one last thing I want to do is I want to turn off button 2. Now we kind of already saw how to do that because over here in our start we use this activate game object. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. So let's go to, let's find game object. Game object, activate right there. And what we want to, we're going to go with a specify variable, and we're going to turn off button 2. Turn it off, and I'm going to go ahead and reset on exit, so that way when we do exit this state it turns it back on. and then this one down here can turn it off if it doesn't need it or whatever. Alright, so let's see what we got now. Let's see if this is still working. So we will go down here. There we go. Who are you? Who are you? You oaf, I'm your wife, Teresa. Now be serious. We have things to do. Like what? And now you can see over here, I'm all the way down here inside this place. So we're just navigating right through here without a problem. Okay, so we've almost got this wrapped up. We want to go ahead and let's do this place one, so that way we have a path all the way to the end, so we're sure that this is working. So in this place, I'm going to need to change my dialog text, my button 1 text, and my button 2 text. So let's go up here. Let's do a set property, dialog text, button 1 text, button 2 text. All right. So let's go with button 2 text, and button 2 text is going to say, let's go with a text and a string, and it's going to say Dapple, because Sancho doesn't remember his donkey for whatever the reason. Button 1 text is going to be of type text and string, and it is going to be Sancho saying, okay, I go do it, whatever. And set property up here is going to be variable dialog text, and it is also going to be of type or property text. I keep saying type, but it's actually what property am I setting in there. So I really should pay attention to what it is I'm saying, because these are all the properties that exist within that particular text object, or that that text variable that's storing an object or text. So these are all the properties that I can change, and I'm really wanting to change the text property is what I'm really wanting to change. I keep saying of type. So she is going to say, this place is a mess. We need to get all the animals back in, spelled something wrong, their pens. We should start by finding Dapple. Okay, there we go. So we got all our text is now changed. We need to go ahead and respond to button presses. So that's going to be on click. Back to this on click, let's add 1, add 2. So the first one is going to specify as button 1, and it is going to send event on click 1. And this other one is going to specify button 2, and it's going to send on click 2. Now this is a situation where you're really starting to see the power of these variables come into place. If I was dragging stuff straight out of the scene, then if I took Teresa into a new scene, all of this stuff would be gone, and I'd have to redo it. But by using variables, all I have to do is reset the variable values inside the inspector, and it's just plain going to work. So that's really cool stuff there. Alright, so we can go from start to UOF to this place, and now we're going to get end working. And what we need to do in the end is we need to turn off our dialog display. So let's start with that. That is going to be an activate game object, and what we want to do is specify. We want to turn off journal, and we want to turn it off and don't reset. And then the other thing we have to do is back here in our dialog detection system, in order to get out of there, it is testing this is over, this bool variable that we created there. So I'm going to go ahead and reach over there and say that variable is true. I am now done with this conversation. Set FSM bool, right there it is. Use owner is correct. We're going to go to starting dialog. We're going to grab, not starting dialog, I'm in the wrong one. We're going to go to dialog detection and grab is over. It is going to be set to false. Okay, nice. Let's see if we can go all the way through this and get back to end right there. And once we get back to end, we should be able to move again. So let's come over here. Let's talk to her. Hi, Teresa. Who are you? We have things to do. Like what? Okay, notice one of my buttons did not come back, right? So we got a little interesting situation here. So let's take a look at what happened. So we'll go to UOF, and notice in my activate game object, I talked about it. I'd specifically said we will reset on exit, but I didn't actually check it. So simple little mistake there. All right, so let's try this again. Hey, Teresa, who are you? We have things to do. Really? Like what? Okay, I go get Dapple. And my okay sent me up to the wrong one. It sent me up over there. So we got another little slight bug here to take care of. So down here, let's see. So my button 1 sent me up there. Let's see, button 1 is okay. Let's see, let's change these right here. So I want button 1 to actually say Dapple, and I want button 2 to say okay. There we go. All right, now let's see what we got. Play that. Let's go talk to Teresa again. Who are you? Like what? Okay. And it did not turn my state machine back on so that I could move again. So we did get down here into our end state. We can come up here, go to our dialog detection system. We can see that in our finished we have this, we're turning that variable off, but we're actually not saying, Sancho, you can go move again. So let's take a look at our close right here and just do some tweaking on this. Sancho, so this one, I'm trying to find all of my Sancho ones. Okay, so this one, this one, this one, this one, all of those. Just held down Shift to select them. Go to a copy selected actions. Let's come down here to close. I'm going to right click in here and let's do a paste actions. And what we want to do is, well, actually it's supposed to reset them on exit. Isn't that interesting? It should have reset them on exit. And I also need to turn this one back off, and that should be reset on exit as well. Interesting. I wonder if that reset on exit has changed. Let's see, so I'll copy that one, come over here to close. Let me paste that one in here. Okay, so I'm going to just turn off my reset on exits. Okay, I want that one off. You on. Oh, you know what? I know exactly what I did wrong. I'm not paying any attention here. Starting dialog is over needs to be true. It didn't actually exit because over here it is testing to see if is over is true. So, another really simple mistake on my part right there. Okay, let's try this again. I'm over here to talk to her. Who are you? Like what? Okay. And I can move again. There we go. Yeah, when the FSM wasn't resetting, I was thinking, wait a minute. Okay, so I bumped into her again. Who are you? Like what? Okay, and then I can go again. And let's try sneaking up on her on this side. Come all the way over near the corner. We'll sneak up on her. Oh no, she turned to face me. Okay, who are you? Like what? Okay. And then we can run away again. All right, there we go. Our dialog system is up and going. Pretty nifty stuff there. And the rest of the dialog is exercise at the end of the chapter. But after doing this, you should have all the tools you need to pull this one off. So any questions, feel free to drop them into the comments below. Apologize for making that mistake on my button game object variable, but as you saw, it's a pretty easy fix. Okay, so yeah, any questions, just drop them down below. Okay, bye-bye.